All right, Power Hour. What is it today? Wednesday? Wednesday, June 30th. Sorry. I'm still kind of tired. I got up early this morning. Um, for those of you that were with me on the stream earlier, thank you for joining back. Anybody who wasn't knows, I've basically been starting to figure out Weeble. I just started using it about less than a week ago. And I took some of those I don't know if Nolan, if you're in here, you were giving me some insight earlier and kind of some tips and stuff. And I'm loving this software now. Like I set up this little the little two chart and have it switching back and forth on the order book, depending on which one I click on. I set up a daily one where I was able to keep up CLOV and GME over here, and then pull up whatever daily charts I want with news, an options chain with some extra stuff on it, and then one with all four. So I'm starting to learn this software. I'm really starting to like it. Real quick, just kind of an update on what's happened since we've I guess gotten out. I'll just go up here first. We'll start with CLOV and GameStop. CLOV has just been kind of trending downwards. On the day, it just got into that negative territory on the day, only down 0.22%, nothing huge. Um, Trying to find a bottom, it's basically been in a downward trend all day. In terms of support levels, there is some maybe significant buy orders down here on level two at 1310, 1320 and again at 1325, but nothing too major like we saw yesterday when we went down and kind of tapped 1301. But it is trending downwards. Really, RSI just got into the oversold area below 30, and maybe it'll start to bounce back now. In terms of short interest or text data on CLOV, let me make sure this is refreshed. Yeah, there's still looks like it's showing a net return of shares. So somehow 2.3 million shares have been covered today. A lot of that could have even happened over here, or it could be shares that were borrowed and never used. But there is 2.3 million, net return today. The cost to borrow is still high, 27% on the low end, 300% on the high end, and 214 kind of the average. So it's still costing them a ton of money to borrow. I think that's good. If we can hold above 13 and kind of stop this downward bleeding today, I think we'll be fine. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're down 0.37% on the day with close. So not a major deal there. Looking at some of the other stocks that we've been watching and, that I've specifically been on, GameStop started off today, came down and touched 206. Ran up and touched 214 a little while after we signed off, like right after we signed off the stream, and then got knocked back down, and it's just kind of been trading sideways. We are seeing kind of a lower high, higher low type of formation going, but not a lot of volume on GameStop today. I think volume on GameStop on the day might be one of the lowest days that I've seen almost ever. It's at 1.8 million right now. I don't know if that's accurate in terms of being the lowest. We could check on that maybe in a little bit, but from as far as I can recall, now we're entering into power hour and we're below 2 million. That's pretty low volume. Um, Other stocks, ATOS is one that I entered into this morning, and it's actually bouncing back. Down 6% on the day. It did gap down from yesterday, but we bought in. Anyone who bought in today after I made that video, I got in somewhere around here, around the 625 level. I think I got those calls for about 28 cents a piece. Not a major position, but overall it is bouncing back, and it's kind of been hitting some resistance at 680 over the last half hour. So we'll keep an eye on that, but if you remember, if you were here on the earlier stream, maybe if you weren't, the reason I entered this play was specifically for the gamma squeeze potential. More of a bet than an investment. But there's a ton of open interest in the option chain expiring on July 16th, and that's kind of what I'm banking on. Just threw a little bit of money in there as a straight up bet, high risk, high reward play. And if this could break above like $758, I think it'll run a little bit. Other stocks, AVXL. Let's see here. So AVXL, anyone who's kind of been watching or paying attention on this one, actually it's probably better if I pull up the daily chart on this one, but it looks to be bouncing back. It came down and touched 22.72. I think the gap fill is actually at 20. I was playing this off filling the gap to 25. It continued to go lower. At this point, I think it's going to come down and fill this gap to 22.22. So I think it's still going to fall about 50 more cents before it continues to rally. But the amazing thing with AVXL is I'm actually up today on my calls, even though the stock itself is down. And reason for that, if you were joining me earlier with in the talking stock stream earlier this morning, IV. So my assumption is IV is increasing, and that's why even with the stock trending downwards, we're seeing better price action on the option chain. So last play that I'm looking at, BNGO, and kind of in this downward trend over the last couple of days. After we just looked like we were getting ready to break above $8 for anyone who's following BNGO with me. And it's been trading above VWAP here for a while. We'll see if it can maybe continue and start a breakup. But this is more of a long-term deal. All right, so with GameStop, and let me see, I put that on there the wrong way. So we're looking at what, CLOV. I'll get over here. I'll try to get over here. There we go. Clover Health and GME. All right, there we go. GME looks like maybe it's breaking out now. Okay. We got back above VWAP, and even if it kind of breaks back down here, that's still kind of following this trend of lower highs. And as long as when it breaks down again, it doesn't go much lower. But I don't know. I mean, GameStop is kind of just one of those ones now where I'm kind of just taking it easy and being patient with it. And I got faith that it's going to happen at some point. We've been holding above 200 for almost 3 weeks now, and we got a new floor. And so when it finally takes off, it's taking off from a higher floor, and I think we should be okay there. Let me take a look here real quick before I get into the comments. So I kind of went over everything that I'm on. AMC looks like it's finally breaking above VWAP and currently trading at 56.53 and just went into the positive for the day. So maybe it's going to go up there and test that 58 level that we saw it catch resistance off earlier. S&P 500 pretty much trading flat at 0.28. And finally, space looks like, where we at with space? Down 1% on the day. Still kind of, it looked like it hit as low as 43.08. Went on a nice little climb up into the $48 range, and now it's at 46.57. So those are just some of the other stocks that we've been watching. But my two major plays are GME and CLOV. But I'll also be talking about AVXL, BNGO, and ATOS as we continue here. Let's see here. So, let's see. What the hell happened to the earlier gains? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I'm assuming you're talking about CLOV here, but we went up and touched 14.17 early, and then kind of been trading sideways, and now we're just on a downward path. And if anyone joined late, we did see a net return of shares today. So more shares have been returned. Could be shares that were borrowed and never shorted. Could also be that maybe some people had covered earlier, in these little run ups, and returned them late without, because so we'll see. But this downward price action right here, I think we just need to find a bottom. And if you're joining late, at the end of the day, what I said was, you look at the price, we're down 0.06. I mean, we're still above 13. 13 is the max pain level. Um, so to me, a win or even just not a loss would be closing above 13 on the day. And that's, we want to keep staying above 13. Eventually, we want to climb up above 13.50, and it'd be really nice to get into that $14 level, as I really think that with the open interest on the option chain, it really gives us the potential to kick off a little bit of a gamma. I don't want to call it a gamma squeeze. I think I put in the video earlier a gamma ramp, because it would just, I think, would ramp us up to about 16, but then kind of die out around there. But yeah, I think we'll be absolutely okay. Grab some ATOS calls this morning too. Right on. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know much about the company. I did a little bit of research yesterday just to kind of see like why it had been moving up, and what's been going on with it. But anytime you're jumping into a stock that, let's see here, has been on this type of tear, from 148 up to 980, I mean, that's kind of a high risk entry point, but at the same time, it's been doing this. Just looking at the chart, it ran up and touched 688, fell down to 382 before starting this run. So it tapped 980 up here. Today we went down to about 602, and we were, anyone who might be on the play with me, I grabbed some calls because there's an absolute I mean, this has huge gamma squeeze potential if the stock could move forward. A lot of these things never pan out, and that's why I say it's a big risk, big gamble. But it has the potential to be a major gamma squeeze and kind of pay off some big reward for the little amount of money you could throw in there if you jumped on some calls. Again, the reason I was getting on ATOS option chain right here. If you're looking in here, this is for July 16th, so it also gives you 2 weeks to kind of let it pan out. You're looking at 50,000, 50,000, 17,000, almost 10,000, and another 50,000. That's a ton of open interest for 100 million float stock. So, and all these other calls over here are no joke either. 20, 21, 14, 24, 14, 28. All those are in the money already. Most, I think, from 4 below are all at 0.9 delta, but everything here from 450 to 6 still has a lot of hedging to be done every day we approach July 16th. And somebody pointed out earlier, and even I kind of discussed it and talked about it, and I have in some of my recent videos, whenever you're in sort of that gamma squeeze type of play, it works both ways. If the stock continues to go lower, you're going to end up getting downward pressure the same way you would have got upward pressure. So we just got to kind of let it play out and see how it goes. There we go. I got the CLOV order book back up. Let's see here. What's up with CLOV? Like I said, I mean, we just got to find a bottom here and hopefully hold that 13 level. I know you sent this comment a long time ago, so my bad for kind of getting to it too late. But we do kind of see some support on the level 2. I think we're gonna be fine. You just got to kind of hold and hold it out. It's one of the highest shorted stocks on the market right now, and it's got insane cost to borrow. So at some point, these people who are shorting the stock, it's going to become too expensive for them to hold it, and they're going to have to buy out, and that's what we're waiting on. Let's see here. I bought 4 shares of ATOS at 651. I'm big balling with the $1.12 profit right now. All good. You know what, too? Let me put this up just so we can kind of take a look at all of them. So ATOS looks like it's might have broke through that kind of 680 high of earlier. Hasn't closed a candle really above it yet though, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Trading at 679 right now. Still down on the day because it gapped down, but it's definitely had some upward momentum since earlier, since about 7:50 when we signed off the live stream earlier. So, um, this could potentially be a huge play. Let's see how it pans out. GameStop still going green, and CLOV just seems to be kind of bouncing around down here, maybe looking for a bottom. So. Um, Let's see. The CLOV SEC filing talked about shelf filing and B shares, warrants, etc. Thanks for everything. Okay, yeah, you know what? I kind of sorry, I just got a text message. One second. Okay. I was looking for some information when we signed off, kind of in the in between, and I couldn't find any like clear clarification on it. And then I got busy kind of running around with my kids and playing around with Webull, which I did figure out for anyone who joined late. I'm loving this software. I've made some custom layouts. I think it's I think this is really going to be great. I'm really starting to dig this software. Let's see here. Is there a long play for ATOS? And if so, where do you think the stock's actual value is? I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I haven't done a ton of research on ATOS at all. So, I don't feel comfortable throwing any price targets or anything out like that. Somebody in this stream, the Power Hour stream yesterday, kind of threw the name out there. I said I'd look into it. I did a little bit of research on it, just briefly to kind of get a gauge why it was going up. And, from what I see, I mean, the stock can shoot any way right now, down or up. I mean, especially after being up so high right now. I did kind of poke around in their subreddit a little while ago in between streams. Um, and there is, a lot of long-term potential holders and people that are holding on to the stock, but I don't feel comfortable enough saying yes, this is a long play or anything like that yet. I mean, any stock that I'm invested in, I always do my research on. It's just with this one, I kind of jumped in on it early because I really saw that potential for a gamma squeeze, and I was trying to get in on this dip, and right now it looks like if this continues to go up, we kind of got in at a good point this morning. So I'm gonna be holding it for the next 2 weeks or sooner if the gamma squeeze actually happens. So I'll continue to kind of do some research and due diligence into the stock now, and maybe I can get back to you on that. At maybe tomorrow's stream or something like that. Anybody who's new in here, hit the subscribe button, please. If you're liking the content, hit the like. If you're not, I don't know why you're in here, but you can dislike it as well. It doesn't bother me at all. But basically, if you are new, for the most part, GameStop and CLOV are my two big plays, my biggest positions. I do have a small position I started today in ATOS and another small position that I jumped back into, was it yesterday? In AVXL. Might have been the day before. And also BNGO is another stock that I'm watching. I know I usually try to stick to no more than four, but this ATOS opportunity seemed like something I wanted to throw into, and so that's my fifth one right now. I'm not going to put 5 charts up, and honestly, I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you think? 4 charts, or would you rather me go back to 2? Because I have the rest over here. It doesn't really bother me much, but you guys are the ones looking at it, so if you prefer to go 2, say it in the chat and I'll move it back. And let me throw this CLOV level 2 back up, and because that's where we're really looking for, is to see what support we get here. And it looks like the most support on level 2 on CLOV is coming in right now at 1310. GameStop, on the other hand, is looking to break the high of the day, which is 214. And if we can hold this candle above it, we might be looking at a breakout here. Very interested to see what happens and see what kind of volume pickup we get. And we're breaking out on GameStop. Let's see here. 1.2 million share failure to deliver should be dropping tomorrow pre-market. Not sure what stock you're talking about, but if it's one of the ones that I'm in, that sounds amazing. CCIV, looking for a good swing trade. You know what? I made a little bit of money on CCIV pre-IPO, and then I lost a little bit money kind of holding into, I made some money off some calls, and then I bought some new ones when it was trading upwards of 60. Kind of FOMO'd back into it. Still ended up above, at a net positive on CCIV, but I haven't even looked at the stock in a long time. So I'll check it out. I'll definitely put it on my list and kind of take a look at it. Co-creator, no problem. Sorry I'm late. Glad I caught the stream. Yeah, I'm glad you're in here. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. What up, Coach B? Where in Cali are you? I'm in Northern California, Bay Area, kind of in the East Bay, like right outside of Oakland, Concord, that area. Let's see here. I bought CLOV at $13.50, and I've been so torn back and forth the past few days. Okay, so, the one thing I'll say is this, and obviously everybody's got to do what they choose, but in terms of CLOV, I've been in GameStop now for 6 months, and sometimes these squeezes take time. And, CLOV is a fundamentally sound stock that I believe, and I know I haven't talked about this, I don't even think on the earlier stream, because we were talking about ATOS and a lot of other stuff. But me personally, I think fundamentally this stock should be trading at about 25 to 30 bucks. And even on the lower end, maybe $20 to $27. So you're looking at double to triple of what it's trading at right now, which to me makes it a great entry point for any stock, and the best entry point for any squeeze stock right now. And I'm not saying it's going to go the highest. I'm not saying it's going to squeeze first, anything like that. But in terms of an entry point, a safe entry point to get into a squeeze play for me, I think CLOV is the safest, and but these squeezes can take time. Like I've been holding GameStop on this second go round for almost 6 months now. Like I said, AMC holders held for almost 5.5 months before they saw the big run up to 73. And the other thing about CLOV right now too is that cost to borrow. It's the average cost to borrow right now is 214%. So right now, like in the short term, it's becoming very, very expensive for short sellers to short the stock. So, me personally, I'm holding out, and I think you'll be perfectly fine at your 1350 entry point. I think you're in at a great spot. Octaviano's here with the clover leaves, absolutely. Let me see here. I'm gonna star that one. I'm starring some of these other ones that I want to get back to in a second, and I'll see if I can figure out how to work that. That way I can do it. CLOV, huge green candles. Where we at with CLOV? Oh, you might be looking at a 1 minute chart. 1 minute chart. Nolan, by the way, nice to see you're in here at the very beginning of the stream. Dante, I'll get back to you in a second too about Upstart. Let me get through all these, and I just started your comment. But Nolan, Octavian says no one lied. Sorry, I know I'm catching up. Let's see. AMC to the moon. Is AMC moving right now? I got behind a little bit. Looks like AMC's up about 0.3%. It did have a nice big candle. ATOS is starting to fall. Okay. Still catching up. I'm currently not in any of these stocks. I just like it here. Right on. Thank you. Sounds like you guys are saying 4 is fine. 4 is fine. Time delay, CLOV at 57. ATOS. Yeah, ATOS it's starting to drop. Not sure what's going on there. I didn't really realize until we were looking at it earlier. This is actually kind of a highly shorted stock too. Not nearly as high as CLOV, but also gives great potential for if a gamma squeeze does kick off, maybe a little bit of shorts covering in there too. So we'll see how that goes. CLOV is trading above the trend line between 15.19 and low 11.05. Yeah, it's definitely CLOV is definitely kind of caught in a channel right now, and we just need to break out of it. I think, if it happens this week and we can hold above 15, and, with even like the way the options chain is set up, if we can get some more upward momentum, and get above 15 and hold it, I think that's going to be huge for the stock and maybe to invite some more retail investors in that are maybe looking for a swing trade. Let's see here. Do you trade for a living? No, I wish. At some point, I'd love to. I do trade every day, even when I'm working, but I do also have a job. I'm a teacher. So usually I'll kind of when school's in, I'll trade in the morning before I leave. And I do a lot of swing trading now. When school's in, I can't really day trade as much, so I do a lot of swing trading, kind of the same stuff I'm doing now. Um, and I've been pretty successful. I've lost money too. I mean, it goes up and down. Um, let's see here. Got in ATOS at 625 the other day. What are your thoughts? Should I hold till tomorrow or sell for profits today? I don't know. I mean, I just got in today on the hopes of a gamma squeeze. So I mean, it depends how many shares you have. You're up. And depending on how long ago you sent this message, if you sent it at 684, my bad for getting to you late. But I mean, you're up 25 cents. It has huge potential for a gamma squeeze. That's why I bought into it. I don't know much about the stock fundamentally, and I was pretty clear with that. When I made the video yesterday and even today, I went purely based off options chain and nothing else on this play. It was a straight up high risk bet. So I'm going to be holding these calls until July 16th, um, unless it squeezes a little bit sooner. CLOV at 57, my truck will be paid off on an animal. Yeah, when you said CLOV at 57, I was thinking, man, what's he talking about right now? But yeah, AMC was running. Candle fight for AMC around 57. You know what? I'll turn off AVXL because it's kind of, I think it's going to go down and touch that 22 again. So I'll get the AMC up here just so we can kind of take a look at it. Because I do think that if AMC could break out and then eventually break out of this, what is this, like 58 level that it got earlier, we might see a nice little run. I'm not in AMC, but I know some of you guys are, and I'd love to see you guys make some money. ATOS dropping right now. I wonder if there's some news on that, which I doubt. It's probably just let's see here. No, no news. Maybe getting shorted a little bit, or a lot of bit. I'll check Ortex on that in a second to see what kind of see here. All right, so we're looking at ATOS. And all right, so like I said, ATOS is kind of a 19% of the free float on loan. That's pretty high short interest, not like a lot of the other like high short stocks, but you are seeing a 1.5 million difference in shares borrowed, so it's probably just getting hit hard right now. Um, you know, that's part of it, especially with these gamma squeeze plays, right? So my expectation is For me at least, you know, I threw in this bet this morning. Anything can happen. This stock, for all I know, could drop back down to $2. Um, but it has the potential to blow out the option chain and get to 16. And for me, when you look at the amount of open interest that's on the option chain, that makes me kind of suspect that some bigger players came in and loaded that up, not just retail. That being said, I would imagine that those big players, if that's the case, would come in and not only provide support for the stock, you know, with some significant buy walls, but also at the same time help to lift it up when they feel the time is right. And there's still 2 weeks left. So, um, you know, I'm not going to get too nervous about anything that's going on here. And really, um, and everybody's position's a little bit different too. So, you know, we'll see what happens. All right, I'm getting lost in the comments again. ATOS needs to close above 660. Let me pull up the daily chart on that and kind of see what you're talking about here. So 660. Okay. Okay. And then, I mean, obviously, to kind of get back into an upward trend, we want to see this thing really get above 771. But I think that even getting up that high would probably kick off a squeeze. Maybe even $8. You know, I don't know about today, but within the next couple days, every day we get closer to July 16th, the more that delta is going to become weighted heavy as we move up or down. GME, go baby. Let's see. Let me get back over here. Okay, so for ATOS, 2 weeks until the option expiration. So the whole reason that I got in on ATOS was for this kind of gamma squeeze play, and it all has to do with the options that are expiring. Um, what is it next? Not next week, July 16th. So we got about 2 weeks. You know, and as long as the open interest kind of stays there, this can happen anytime between then and July 16th. Obviously, if we get a little bit of a run up and I'm looking at a profit and open interest is starting to fall off, I'll probably exit. But for the amount I put in, I think I bought 10 calls this morning at about 28 cents a piece, so $280. I'm just going to kind of let it ride, uh, you know, and see what happens. All right. Let me get to some of these other comments that I starred that I kind of skipped over. And my bad if I skipped them over. It was just kind of, you know, I was trying to work through all the other ones. So CLOV, actually, let me see, because we are still trending downwards. It looks like we do have a 30,000, 31,000 buy wall at 1310 and another 42,000 buy wall at 13. So these are kind of the same support levels that we were seeing in Power Hour yesterday. We went down and tapped that 1301 mark and saw it bounce off of it. You know, I mean, if we go down and hit it again and we're able to kind of hold that level, I think that's still a huge win for this stock. You know, the max paying price is 13. That's where market makers are going to try to pin this price. It's a heavily shorted stock. If we can hold 13 as our new floor, that's major. That's a major win for this stock. You know, a lot of these things aren't going to happen overnight, especially like these squeeze plays. And I can't say enough how much CLOV is undervalued right now. So, baby steps, work our way up. Might be the case until, you know, this cost to borrow gets so heavy that these shorts just have to get out. But we want to work that stock up between now and then. So just have to see how it goes. All right, so these comments that I skipped over, my bad. Thoughts on Workhorse? I haven't really looked at it. I really haven't, and I did write it down the other day when you asked me. I know that's a really popular stock, and I've also seen that. I think Sean Stocks, the other guy that covers CLOV, he's been covering it, and so I've been meaning to really look into it. I just, I mean, for me, even being in 5 plays right now is really overwhelming. But I can pull it up for you real quick if you want to just take a look at it. And I did for you guys. I was talking earlier about what I did here with the Weeble. I customize this so when I want to pull something up on a daily, I have CLOV and GME just always sitting here for those of you guys that want to just to kind of stay focused on these two stocks. So Workhorse, this looks like it kind of got those same spikes when all the memes kind of took off in the new short squeeze frenzy that kind of popped off in June. Hit a high at 1859, and I mean, the chart to me looks pretty strong. I don't know anything about it fundamentally or nothing, but just looking at the daily chart, RSI is still trading high. It's still above on the MACD, and I think really you'd be looking for it to kind of break out above this 1860 level and continue to push higher. I know the all-time high last time I looked at it was 42.96, and that looks pretty promising in itself too. I mean, you zoom out, it's definitely in an upward trend. From what I remember hearing about this stock, it's highly shorted. And, from a pure technical standpoint, it does look like, at some point it may look to kind of break up here and get through this 43 level. But other than that, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know much about it. Look at Upstart for me. Upstart is UPST, I think. And again, this is a stock that I know nothing about. What did this just IPO recently in December? Upstart Holdings. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, just by looking at a daily chart, what I can tell on this one, um, it is up today 5%, 4.5%. But where's my VWAP at? I would say just from like a trading standpoint, you would kind of want to see it, maybe hold this candle it's at right now above VWAP. And if it doesn't, I would be nervous that maybe it's going to go back down and try to test the bottom. But again, it's hard to just kind of jump into something without, having too much of a understanding of what's going on behind it and everything. Being in two plays is overwhelming. Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, and that's why really I was keeping up the kind of that two up screen where we were just watching the two. But I know that you guys are in other stuff too. But it gets overwhelming when you're in a lot of stuff. I mean, I know. Um, I kind of mentioned it earlier about options and staying when you are in options, not getting in too over your head and not having too much of your account allocated to options, and how things can go bad. And I kind of got into that situation a while back where I was on fire. I was hitting stuff, and I would roll it into a new play and roll it into a new play, and next thing I know, I had like 10 different stocks going at once, but they were all in option calls too, with 2 months out, and it's just hard to keep track of. I really like to, whatever stocks that I'm invested in, whatever plays I'm in, I like to be able to stay on top of them, check the news on them a couple times a day, take a glance at them to see where they're at. If they do go on some sort of drop, make sure that there's no, major news that's behind it that's kind of setting it off, that kind of stuff. So yeah, the more stocks you're in when you're trying to trade, the more overwhelming it is. I mean, from an investment standpoint, if you're just trying to like buy and hold long term and get into stuff for years from now, it's a little bit easier, right? I mean, there's a lot of stocks that in a different account that I've had, like, just long term, I'm buying this and I'm never going to look at it again. And, maybe in 5 years, 10 years. And yeah, occasionally you'll go over and kind of take a peek, but, that's different. But when you're talking about trading and trying to make quick profits and getting in and out of stuff, whether it be swing trades where you're in something for days, weeks, or months, or day trading, following more than four is pretty difficult. And the more you spread yourself thin, probably the more mistakes you're gonna make. Are you and Tar Heel doing a weekly live stream starting next Monday? So the market, I haven't talked to him about it, but we did talk about making it a weekly thing. I absolutely want to do it. I'm going to send him a text message at some point this week. But the market is closed on Monday, so sucks, huh? 3-day weekend. So I was planning on. I don't know if he's watching right now, but I was gonna hit him up and just tell him, see if he wanted to do Tuesday or what day works good for him. But I thought that was fun. We did, for anyone who's not unfamiliar. So Tar Heel Blues, another YouTuber who's also covering CLOV, and I had him on Monday morning this week. We were just kind of shooting the shit and on here for almost a good hour and a half and just talking and kind of doing the same thing, looking at different stocks and checking things out. And I thought it was really fun. So I'm going to hit him up again and see if he wants to make it a weekly thing. And maybe we'll figure out a day. Maybe we just make it Tuesdays. But I got to talk to him about it. But that's my intention, yes. And I also want to bring up, I'm glad you brought that up, co-creator, because I've been mentioning it every stream. For those of you guys that are new to the stream, and maybe are invested in CLOV, I put in the description of this video the CLOV Discord and the CLOV subreddit. Great resources. Go in there, check it out. Join. We're trying to build the community. The more people that we get in here to buy and hold this stock, the better off we'll be. The cost to borrow is already ridiculous, but the holding is what's going to keep this stock from falling down when it does get shorted. And the bigger we build the community, the better off we'll be. Also, go follow the other people that are making YouTube videos on CLOV. Make sure you subscribe to them. Make sure you like their videos. Get them into the algorithm so that when someone goes to look up a different video, they're going to come across those CLOV videos, whether they're mine or someone else's. And I think that's going to be huge in building this community up. So that's my spiel on that. Just support the community in any way you can. Just taking a look. So CLOV's continuing to kind of go down, hitting new lows. Lows on the day, but 13.17 right now. Again, a lot of support at 13.10 and $13. So let's see what's going on here. And I'm just taking a look at Ortex right now, and the net return on shares is still 2.8 million. So this is either shorts that maybe borrowed these shares earlier that are hammering the stock down, or selling. But I don't know how much selling we're actually going to get. I feel like we already have a pretty good base of a community, but everybody makes their own decisions. ATOS starting to take a little bit of a nosedive, hitting down at almost 14% on the day, down to 621. GameStop, on the other hand, is trading above VWAP now, and it looks like maybe it was consolidating after this recent run to 215 and now trying to break that. That is the high of the day for GameStop, is 215.28. Right now it's trading at 214. So let's see. Looking forward to it. You two are a powerhouse together. Right on. I thought that was fun. I had a blast the other day on Monday when we did it. And I'm looking forward to it too. We exchanged numbers the other day. We've kind of been text messaging. He sent me some videos about, just other stuff related to CLOV or related to the markets in general. We've been kind of sharing, information. And I think that's what it's all about. And I keep saying it, but I got to do it. I'm going to try to reach out to Dutch Trades too. I know some of the people that come in the morning show also watch a lot of Dutch videos. And I think the more we can kind of all connect and hook up, the better it'll be. CLOV is very painful. I don't know. I get it, but we're down 1%. I know everybody wants to see like these monstrous gains and just day after day at 10%, 5%, all this kind of stuff. But being down 1% on the day and still holding above 13, to me, we're winning this. We're winning this battle right now, I think. Do you think so many meme stocks trending that the hedge funds are having a hard time holding them all down at once? Yes. You know, I also think that while there may be some hedge funds that or institutions that are all shorting, you know, the masses of these stocks, a lot of them aren't in the same stocks, right? So you might have some that are shorting GameStop and AMC, some that are shorting GME, CLOV, and Workhorse, you know, and you know, it's whatever short positions they're in. Um, but because these are all some of the most highly shorted stocks, and because of kind of the media spin that's been put on it, I think you do have a lot of, you know, institutional investors and things of that nature that are kind of grouping up and hammering these stocks. That's just my speculation. But absolutely, I think that all of these stocks kind of moving at the same time. I think 2020 or 2021, basically this year has just been rough on them in general. You know, I mean, it started off in January, or I should say maybe even December with GameStop, but it's kind of been nonstop. And there's been, you know, there you have retailers who are basically just hunting for over shorted stocks and you know, for hedge funds that have heavy short positions, and I'm sure it's making it hard to handle. You know, so I think I discussed this a little bit in the morning show earlier, but you know, I also think that because of that very same reason, whichever stock squeezes first, or even just goes on a massive run. Let's say AMC finally breaks through 60 that it's been trying to get through over the last couple of days, or GameStop can bust above 225, which is kind of a key number for it. Um, any of these, you're going to see other short positions, in my opinion, start to unwind. We've seen it happen before. When one starts running, the other ones start running too. Well, I think some of that might be retail FOMO. I think another major part of that is these hedge funds that are shorting multiple stocks. As the pressure's getting put on them, they have to kind of start unwinding positions. And so if they have to unwind their GameStop position, that's going to benefit AMC as well as they're unwinding all their short positions. Hope that makes sense. Patience is key. Oh, here we go. I skipped you, Scotty. My bad. Remain calm and hold. Absolutely. And patience is key with all investing. Yeah, I mean, and really, you know, investing in general, true, absolutely. Patience is key. But one thing that I've learned um, in the last 6 months with GameStop is that, you know, you really got to be patient and not get your hopes up on certain dates and things like that. I mean, anything can happen. The potential for a lot of stuff is there. And it's good to kind of inform yourself and know what could possibly happen, but always kind of take that back road of, you know what, I got my shares. I'm fine with holding them. You know, it costs me nothing to hold. It costs them every day to short the stock. So I think that's kind of the mindset that you got to kind of have to be in. Can you check call sweeps on ATOS? Yeah, let me see if I did notice earlier on the news thing. So on my daily, I put a news thing up here. Let's see. Let's see if we can find it. There was like a unusual option activity report that came out about 4 hours ago that I was reading earlier. Basically, it was a put sweep. So I'm assuming someone was selling puts at the $3 strike price for that to be a you know, a bullish activity, which is what they're saying. Um, but that's the only thing that I've noticed in terms of news that's come out. In terms of the option chain on it, you know, you really can't see the updated option info for until tomorrow morning. But we can see is the volume, you know, and there's been 8,700 volume here, 13,000 volume here, 6 nothing else major in there. So, and that could be people selling their calls or buying in, you know, buying in on their calls. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. Looks like GameStop might be looking to pop again right now. I just noticed that it jumped up. Should I buy ATOS now at 613? So obviously, I don't want to tell you exactly what to buy or anything like that. I bought in earlier at on this second candle. Yeah, somewhere around here, like in the 620 range, 618 range. But the other thing that you should know, like if you got into this stream late, I have been kind of saying over and over again that this is purely a gamma squeeze play for me. I don't know much about this stock fundamentally. I did a little bit of research last night, but this is a straight up bet for me. Um, I'm perfectly fine with losing the money that I put into ATOS, and that's the mindset that I went into it with. High risk play, but high reward if it pays off. So I just want to, make that clear. Um, but yeah, I mean, I know it's not at 613 anymore; it's at 620. But this is right around my entry point this morning. So me personally, I think this was a pretty decent entry point for me. Let's see. Really starting to love the Sense community. We Clove holders are starting to develop. So grateful for your channel and others giving sound advice on becoming good at this. I've learned so much. Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. I mean, we're all learning every day, myself included. The bigger the community gets, and just getting on. I just started. I've been on Reddit. I've been looking at Reddit for 2 years now, maybe longer, maybe even 3 years. But I just created an account in January, and I didn't even start posting until a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to really dig the community too, especially in that CLOV subreddit. But I think the community as a whole, all the YouTubers that are doing stuff, the Discord, kind of everything together. Let's see here. Sweepcast. I'm sorry, I'm not even sure. Jawab, what you're talking about. If that's something new, like I said, I learn every day too. Is that a part of the Webull software, or is that like a website? Because I'd love to learn if there's somewhere that kind of lists out call sweeps and stuff. So maybe you can educate all of us, please. Um, let's see here. We'll take a look around. We've got about 8 minutes left before market open or market close. Clove went down and touched 13.17. It's now trading at 13.23 with support. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. $33,000 shares at 13.10, and still somewhere around 50,000 shares between $13.01 and $13. So I don't think they're going to be able to hammer this through there. ATOS also looks like it's starting to bounce up. GME has been trending up almost for the past hour. This looks really nice. Hopefully that'll continue into after hours. Sometimes we've seen that. We've seen it with CLOV. I've seen it in the past with GameStop where this thing just absolutely rolls in after hours sometimes. But it seems like it's been up forever. So we'll have to see where that goes. Jawad, I'm going to star this, what you just said, and check it out later because so 16 various call sweeps at the .5 strike. Each transaction 200 at 570. Huh. So that would be, in terms of volume. Okay, so right now it looks like open interest is $1.43, or 143, sorry. And we had volume of 8,900 today. So, I mean, if that's the case and someone went in here and bought a bunch of these 50-cent calls, one thing that I will point out that I've seen with GameStop in the past, and that might actually explain some of the downward action that we just saw. And this is just speculation right in here. This used to happen with GameStop a lot, especially on these days where, ATOS is in an SSR today, a short sale restriction. So there should be no downward shorting. But you'd see people go in and buy all these in the money calls, exercise them immediately. Now they own the shares and they can sell those shares into the market. That's something, there was some great due diligence out there on the Super Stonk subreddit about that. This was going back, I think, all the way to February, and that could be what we saw there. For someone to go in and buy the 50-cent strike, almost like that's a way of them buying shares without really affecting the market and pushing the price up. and now they have these shares in their hands, and they could dump them right back into the market and sell them, and it wouldn't necessarily be considered shorting because they're shares that they own now. Let's see here. So Sweepcast, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna take a look at that after the stream today. And I mean, man, if that's something that you know, can help build on to my whole thing, like how Vortex is something I keep referencing. I definitely want to get options data because that's what I'm all about. So Sweepcast, I'm gonna look into that too after this stream today. Like I said, kind of learning something new every day. Liked your first video on ATOS. Can we expect another DD video on it from you in the future? Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like I said earlier, like any stock that I'm in, and that's actually how I became kind of so into CLOV. Like my initial video on CLOV, while I did do more research on the stock than I did on ATOS yesterday, wasn't just in the option chain. I looked into the company and what catalysts were coming and all this other stuff. And I was looking at CLOV as a short-term play, but the more that I started covering it and learning about it, then I became kind of a long-term believer. So any play that I am in, I will do my due diligence on. And, my intention is to kind of continue to look into this ATOS because, like I said, I put in a $280 bet today, that I'm okay with losing. But if I end up, feeling like maybe this is something bigger, absolutely, I'll continue to put out videos on it and updates on it and, make myself more knowledgeable on it. That way, when we're on the stream, I can kind of answer more questions about it. So that's my intention at least. Let's see here. Okay, so I got that one. I just want to make sure I figured out how to favorite these comments so that I can go back and look at them later too. I'm still learning. Anybody who's new in here, this is only my 4th week streaming. Probably 4th day using Webull, so I'm kind of using new software. Just getting used to this stuff. So again, I'm learning about it too. Thoughts on market movements we might expect the rest of the week? It's really hard to say. Like the S&P 500, I'll just pull that up real quick, has been absolutely ripping. So if we're talking about the markets in general, I mean, it hit another all-time high today, and the way the S&P's been kind of going lately. Let me pull up the daily chart. We're getting near the close. Let me wait till the end of the close so we can kind of see where these stocks all finish at on the day. But the S&P 500, what I've noticed over the last probably 3 months or so, and I'll pull up the daily chart on it and show it in a little bit, is whenever it kind of hits these all-time highs and these benchmarks, and then it kind of goes on a downturn for the next 3-4 days. We saw it happen a lot, I want to say in April, and it ends up dragging a bunch of stocks down with it. So, that could be, it really that could play an effect. A lot of the stocks that I'm in right now happen to have high short interest in regards to GME CLOV, and are the two major ones. But I think if one of these ends up kind of moving, and even if it's AMC or BlackBerry or any of these kind of meme stocks move, they can also have a similar effect where they will move the markets. In terms of each individual stock, being that CLOV just kind of found its bottom again for the 2nd day in a row, I'm expecting green. I really am. I think they can't get us below 13, and I really feel like CLOV is going to go green the rest of the week. That might be a little bit of hopium, but based on what they've tried to get it down below 13 2 days in a row. The cost to borrow is insane. And speaking of the SPY, huge red candle right here at the end of the day. So not sure what that's about. And we just closed. So it looks like CLOV closed down 0.3% at 1332. GameStop up 1.43% at at 213.90. ATOS down 12.47. But anybody who kind of got in today, you know, earlier this morning, if you bought calls, you had to kind of wait until 6:30, 6:35. You're actually not down that much. A lot of this negative percentage on ATOS is, you know, because it closed at 7:32 yesterday. So I think this is still a good price point. I'll go over that on the daily chart in a second too. Uh, and then let's see here. I'll just go through real quick. So AVXL. 22.86. I still think that's going to go down and kind of tap $22 before it moves back up. Now at this point, it's getting so close to kind of filling this gap. BNGO is up 0.27%. Not a huge gainer day, but at least it's not negative. You know, like a lot of these other. Oh, that's after hours. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Minus 2.79%. So I'm still getting used to this. I guess it's showing the after hours next to it. So BNGO is still hanging around, kind of stuck between this $7 and $8 mark. We'll have to see how that goes. You know, but let me pull up these daily charts real quick. So ATOS first, since it's up here. You know, this is the same type of price action that happened when it ran up to, you know, 690 on June 8th, where it kind of fell over the next 3 days or so. And I'm expecting the support that we saw today twice near the end of the near the bottom near $6. You know, hopefully we'll get a turnaround here and be able to break above 750. If it doesn't happen this week, and even if it kind of trades sideways this week, all that's going to do is lower the IV and allow you know, whoever the whales were that originally loaded up these calls to get in and buy more. And that's my expectation with this play, is that people are going to come in and kind of load up and push this thing into the gamma squeeze territory at some point. AVXL real quick. So again, I was originally playing off a gap fill play here, looking to get in at 25. When it continued to go down, now I really feel like it's probably going to fill this gap here at 22. And it's almost there. I mean, it closed at 22.86. It's got about 60 more cents to lose. And then I think it's going to reverse back up because a lot of positive news on this stock. You know, a lot of great things happening with the stock right now. If anything, I think this is consolidation off this high run. Very similar to what we saw with CLOV a couple weeks back, but this was more of a natural run up, you know, where like CLOV did it all in one day. So I just think it's trying to fill these gaps, and then it'll continue to go. BNGO I had been talking about previously. Right now, it's just kind of stuck in this range where it's holding above 7 every day, but it can't quite seem to stay above 8. You know, it's getting above 8, but it can't close above 8. So it's just stuck right here in this channel. And, you know, I'm looking for it to stay above 7, you know, as a base. But eventually, once we break out of 8 and we can close above 8, I think we'll get up here, test this 912. And my expectation is to eventually test this all-time high of 1569. 1 second. Hey, James. Okay, I was gonna say get the door. All right. Let's see. So I think I kind of covered everything except for GameStop. You know, again, we're closing above 200. I think we found a new floor here. Volume is absolutely drying up. 2.4 million today. Kind of about even with yesterday, but it is getting, you know, less and less and less volume, which, you know, once these shorts end up covering or we see some sort of catalyst or any sort of major buying pressure with this volume the way it is, I think this thing's going to skyrocket. We have a new base now, a new floor, and we really just need to break above this 350 level, and I think all hell's going to break loose. CLOV, again, just kind of evaluating the daily chart. We did close above the moving average today. That's a good sign. I know we were negative on the day by 0.3%. Not major, but again, not only did we close above the moving average, but on top of that, we're closing above max pain. Max pain this week is $13. We've now closed above that twice. We're going to continue to see downward pressure, but they haven't been able to keep the stock down consistently. And it looks like it's getting harder and harder for them to do it every day. So, sorry, I didn't even realize I got way behind on these chats. But let's see. So CLOV, just real quick, Ortex data. So we're looking at a net return of 3.5 million shares today. Kind of insane when we didn't really see a lot of upward movement in that covering. So assuming maybe these are shares that were borrowed that were never actually sold into the market. Minimum 27% on the cost to borrow, extremely high. Maximum 300%, insanely high, and so is 212% as the average. So, I think CLOV's looking really strong. I really feel like CLOV is going to continue to see green this week, and eventually we're going to try to get here and break above 15, and that's going to be like the next major resistance level. And once we kind of get through that and can hold that, I think we'll be establishing a new floor. My expectation is we might be able to see that this week, especially with the open interest on the option chain. There's enough firepower there to really propel us above 16, and maybe we'll fall back to 15 and catch new support there. But if not, just inching up every day is great for the stock. If we could just continue to kind of get up and get up and get up and hold, it costs them to short. It costs us nothing to hold it. Let's see here. Streaming like a pro, we appreciate it. Weebles and wobbles, they don't fall down. Oh, you know what I wanted to show real quick before I get through here? So SPY. So this is what I was kind of talking about with the S&P 500. And it's been going on for a while now. Every time it hits a new high, this is back in January, it fell from 385 down to 368. And during that time, it drug the market down with it. It hit this high at 394, fell all the way down to 371, drug the market down with it. Every single time it hit a new high, it probably dropped by at least 398 to 380, 10 to 20 bucks. And sometimes it takes it a little bit longer to get up there and hit it, but it seems like it always ends up, having this big fall that lasts a couple days, maybe even a week. And that's why I say, it's really hard to speculate on like what's going to happen for the rest of the week, because in any given week, because at any time now, with the SPY sitting up here at an all-time high again, we could see this kind of price action over a 4-day span, or even this kind of price action over a 2-week span. And even if the SPY is going to continue to roll, that type of stuff is going to create some sell-offs in the market and kind of draw everything down with it. That's kind of what I was getting at earlier. So real quick, let's see. Sorry, there's a bunch of chats in here that I don't think I'm going to be able to get to. Thank you, everybody, for being in here. Jawad, I don't know how to figure that out to do a chat, but I'm perfectly okay with it. I don't know. Do you have like Reddit, or are you on the Discord or anything like that where you have the ability to DM me? That's all good. Or even like on my Twitter. Maybe if you want to follow me on Twitter, and then we can kind of chat through there. It's at Coach B Stocks. If you want to get on there, if you're still in here. Okay, what say or text on CLOV? We got to that already. ATOS going down dramatically. I wouldn't necessarily say so, and you might have sent this comment before I kind of sent this out, but I think ATOS, anytime you get a major run up, and I don't care what stock it is, you'll see some sort of pullback before it continues to run again, consolidation. And that's kind of what I'm thinking is happening. But again, I mean, a stock that went up from $1 to $10 or $9.80 in such short time can really look to maybe draw back a lot, even almost 50% or more. So play at your own risk. Don't you think you would keep it down until Friday the 16th to avoid paying all the calls without expiration? Talking about CLOV. Well, I mean, there in terms of CLOV, there's weeklies now. So there's contracts that, like the open interest on CLOV, this kind of like option chain setup that I'm saying kind of has the potential to run us to 16. That's for this week. And then but July 16th has even more open interest in the option chain, and all that open interest adds up too. So like, and what I mean by that is, if there's, I'll pull this up real quick. So let's go to CLOV. Right now we're looking at July 2nd. I'll give you a perfect example. The $15 strike has 15,000 open calls. Those would have to be hedged as we, and obviously puts offset, but those would have to be hedged. But now, even if it happens this week, the July 9th has 3,000 open calls. Those count too. July 16th, those count too, 18,000. So while I'm, specifically looking at this week's option chain because those have kind of the stronger delta hedge the closer we get to it, all those calls across the entire chain help in terms of that upward or downward pressure that you get. Some of us are very new to investing. Can you do a video that explains your support lines, your buy lines, etc.? You know what? Yeah, and in the afternoons, the power hour with only being on here for an hour, it's kind of hard to really like slow it down and get into it. But even in like the morning show, I can kind of slow it down sometimes, maybe, and start drawing like trend lines and putting support level in and stuff. If that's something that you guys want to kind of learn about and how that stuff works. I just every time I pull away from like the main page, I always try to get back to, the stocks quick because I know that's what a lot of people are following too. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely slow it down or even put some videos together. I mean, if that's something you guys are interested in, I'd absolutely will. Real quick, it looks like GameStop is again moving in after hours and looking to now break above this 215 level, so that should be good. ATOS at a 61 retracement from its high. Okay, and hearing a lot of about the possible effects of the end of the quarter on hedge fund activity. Do you think this is likely to have any significant effect on the price of CLOV? So I kind of addressed this in the stream this morning too, and my take on it is this. It's not just hedge funds. There's institutional investors. There's hedge funds that are going long, and there's hedge funds that are going short in all these stocks. So sometimes it could mean absolutely nothing when we get to the end of the quarter, and sometimes it could actually mean something. It's one of those things. It could be a potential catalyst, but the quarter actually ended today, and we didn't really see a lot of movement. But sometimes what you'll see in given stocks is, if a hedge fund has a super large position, a long position in the stock, they may try to pump it up right before the quarter ends. So when the day ends, they can now show that they made all this money, even though they're going to sell off some of that position afterwards, just to kind of inflate their numbers, or maybe cut some of their losing positions. Like, let's say if they're losing in a short position, cut those off their books before the end of the cover or quarter, or try to absolutely decimate a stock and drive it down if they're short on it, so that they could show a net positive gain before the end of the quarter. So there's so much going on, and that's kind of the speculation that everyone has. Is like, everyone always thinks of the best possible scenario. Like, oh yeah, well, all these shorters are gonna cut out their positions. Well, at the same time, you might also have shorters that are going to try to nail down the positions and hammer the stock into the ground. And there's so many ways to skin it and look at it. But sometimes it does have an effect. Sometimes the last day of the quarter can depends on the particular fund or institution that's in it, and how they want to play it. Hope that answers your questions. Bears say that CLOV will see a big dump of new shares with the lockup arriving in a few days. Yeah, so that lockup expiration is on July 3rd. I mean, there's a ton of institutional investors in this stock. I read some great kind of DD on the CLOV subreddit, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because what I'm going to do is probably make a video about that and address that, and maybe even interview the guy that wrote it and really get a great understanding for the points he made on that, and that way just kind of to get that information out there, because at the end of the day, a lot of these people that got in, that bought in IPO to this is just the simple answer for me. When they got in, they haven't made a killing right now. I mean, I don't really see anyone coming in to dump this stock right now at $13.30. Considering where it started at, I mean, to me, people who got in on this stock's IPO, initial investors, institutional investors that are holding this stock, believe in the long-term growth of it, and they're going to be looking to sell when it hits upwards of $100 and that sort of thing. I mean, that's just my speculation. But again, I'll try to put together a pretty decent video about it and put something out there. Not on the stream, but an independent video, and that way we can get some more information out there on that, because I know it is coming up next week, right? So, or is it? Yeah, I believe it's early next week. So yeah. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm a little over time right now. I gotta go check on my kids and make sure they haven't killed each other during this stream. And thank you guys for coming in here. I appreciate everybody coming on. Appreciate you for sticking through the stream. And hopefully tomorrow morning, if you want to join me, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific time, we'll have a much better day. It didn't look like not much went green today, other than AMC up about 0.4%, and GameStop up about 1.4%. Everything else kind of a red day. So hopefully we'll see more green tomorrow. Thank you again. Actually, I'll address this one more time, because I got really don't know how you handle all these questions. So the questions actually make it easier. They really do. It helps kind of get through the stream. Otherwise, you're kind of sitting here and I just start repeating myself, going over the same information, and I feel like I'm recycling the same information. So I love the questions. They really make it fun, and they really make it kind of fly by, where like I feel like I've been sitting here talking. I haven't even really been watching these charts, because I'm looking at the comments the whole time, but I love it. I like talking about it, and it helps it go by. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. I really got to go now. I'll see you tomorrow morning, hopefully.